The endocrine system is basically your hormone system. Now, everybody's heard of hormones. Everybody likes to talk about hormones, but not many people actually know what they are. So hormones are basically chemical messengers that tell the body what to do. So they're produced in various glands around the body. There's loads of them. But just as an example, you've got your pituitary gland, you've got your pancreas, and your thyroid. So the pituitary gland regulates growth. Thyroid is responsible for metabolism, some other things as well, but metabolism really. And the pancreas basically produces insulin when you have a high sugar intake. So diet affects these hormones massively. You literally are what you eat. So there are short-term and long-term effects of diet on the endocrine system. So if you're eating a lot of sugar in your diet, processed foods, alcohol, sweets, chocolate, etc., whatever it is, if you have that on a regular basis, it's going to increase your blood pressure, it's going to increase the amount of fat that's in your bloodstream, and it's also going to put you at risk of insulin resistance. So insulin is produced from the pancreas. It basically allows the glucose to be used as energy. The problem is if you don't need that energy, so if the muscles don't soak it up, or you're not physically active that day, you haven't been physically active. For example, when people drink a lot of alcohol or eat junk food, it's usually late at night before they go to bed. So the body's not going to accept that energy, it doesn't need it. So the liver turns that into fat. That increases the lipids or the fat in your bloodstream, and that's going to swim around your bloodstream until it gets stored somewhere as fat, usually around the guts or the bum or the hips. That can have an effect on your hormone system as well, a negative effect. So that's the long-term effect of a high sugar diet. If you keep doing it, you're going to get insulin resistant and you're going to have fat swimming around your bloodstream on a regular basis. That's not good for you. Increases your blood pressure, increases the chance of your arteries getting clogged up as well. And it's basically not good for you long term. So another thing that will affect your endocrine system is the quality of protein that you have. Protein is made up of 20 amino acids in the human body anyway. 9 of those are essential, and that means we can only get those from dietary sources. Animal proteins are best, so meat, eggs, fish, cheese, etc. Plant-based protein is fine, but it doesn't come in as much volume, so you'd have to eat a lot more plant material to get the same 9 essential amino acids than what you can just get from having meat, eggs, fish. Heavily processed foods, junk foods in particular, will not contain as much quality protein as what Mother Nature can provide for you. So if you're eating a lot of junk food, there's a good chance you're not getting the 9 essential amino acids that you need in the right doses. That's going to result long term in not being able to build muscle mass or repair muscle mass that's been damaged. Also, it's going to reduce your growth hormone. A lack of growth hormone has a multitude of negative consequences throughout your life, especially long term. So by not eating the right quality and the right quantity of healthy foods, there's a good chance you're not getting your 9 essential amino acids, and especially not getting them in the right doses. So a well-calculated diet from a professional is going to ensure that the endocrine system functions normally. It sounds really complicated, but it's not. We are so far away from the animal kingdom now in terms of processed food that our endocrine systems aren't functioning properly. Once upon a time, for a long time, processed foods did not exist. You had to get everything you needed from Mother Nature. But luckily for you, Mother Nature provides everything that you need. Meat, eggs, fish, fruit and vegetables contain everything that you need. Junk food does not provide everything that you need, and it usually provides way too much of what you don't need. And giving your body too much of what it doesn't need is going to have a negative consequence on your endocrine system. You might not notice immediately, but you certainly will long term. So short term, once in a while, junk food is probably not going to do you any harm. I wouldn't recommend it if you're trying to lose weight, but I still don't see why you want to do it, because healthy food tastes way better if you know how to cook anyway. So it's much harder to put weight on from a homemade pizza than it is to put weight on from a takeaway pizza. The reason for that is the homemade stuff is everything's fresh, it contains more nutrient value, so more vitamins, more minerals, and you get way more for your calories than what you do from a heavily processed takeaway pizza. That's just one example. One last thing is, what most people tend to do way too much of now is alcohol. And you can't take it off people. It's like taking a dummy off a baby. You cannot stop people from drinking. I understand that. Once a week is fine. If you can't keep it down to once a week, you've probably got a problem. So just to summarize then, the endocrine system is directly affected by diet. You literally are what you eat. The higher quality of food you eat, the higher quality of life you're going to have. You're going to feel better, you're going to look better. So if you're tired, you're fatigued, you're depressed even, the foods you eat will directly have an effect on how you feel.